Welcome back to another weekly watch list. We're going to start this one off by going straight into the ones that I feel are ready to enter, and they're quite interesting pairs. You can see in green Aussie USD, Euro USD and CAD CHF, and I think what we're going to do is start on CAD CHF. So let's go to the daily. You'll be able to see roughly what it is we are looking at. So price action from 0.618 Fibonacci, and just before we actually go into that, we'll show you where we took the Fibonacci from. So we took it from this swing low here to the top of these highs, and that gave us our Fibonacci levels. You can see price action round about that 618 Fibonacci level, pushed back up in a bullish manner, back up above the 0.5. As you can see here, we are forming on the 4 hour a small descending wedge pattern back in to that 0.5 Fibonacci level, and I do think that we can potentially get some buyers back in the market to push this price action a little bit higher. So say for example, if we were to hide this right now, and we know that price action is roughly here where the 0.5 is, and we take another Fibonacci here from this swing low down here to the top right and drag it across, we're able to see that roughly it's a 0.382 retracement from this initial push up. So going back to this Fibonacci here, you can see the price action's got a little bit coming down to do it, and then it will hit that 0.5 in line with that 0.382 for this. We could actually come back down lower, but I do think price action, just with it getting squeezed and the nature it's getting squeezed, we might actually be able to move up higher. And then where could we potentially move up higher to? It's quite clear to see just above that 0.73600 handle, just under these highs here, where price action really struggled to break above that 0.73800 and then tanked down. So that's what we're looking at for CAD CHF. Let's go to Euro USD. Euro USD was an interesting one. I think that we could still be heading lower, but again, who knows? We'll go up to the weekly. Sorry, you can see that we have broken this neckline on the weekly. You see, you had that shoulder, and this would have been the neckline. We actually broken below that, and now we're coming back up to retest. But you can see that daily 50 EMA curving round. So now you've really got to watch to see what's going to happen when price action does come back to retest that broken neckline in line with that daily EMA, and I do think it's going to have a significant reaction in this red circle here and push price action down lower. But again, we really don't know what's going to be happening, so we're just going to take some time to let the market develop. But this is what it looks like on the 4 hour and of course the daily. So that's what we're looking for in Euro USD, and then Aussie USD. You can see here quite clear an ABC wave. Again, I don't think this A wave could still be yet to finish, but of course we'll have to watch and see. I think price action might do something along the lines of push maybe into an area like this. By the time it comes down a little bit, round about here, come back down into here, and then another move up higher. But it's not really been a significant close outside. If you go down to the 1 hour, you'll be able to see we have pushed out. But again, this is actually quite a good sign, the fact that we have respected and not come back down to retest immediately. We have created a mini double top, and we could come back down to retest in an area like this, but we've got that orange zone which is going to act as support, and then of course the breaking of the trend line coming back down to retest will also act as another support. So that's two confluences we could put into potentially going long. I would like to see that have gotten up a little bit higher, maybe in and around an area like this, which probably would have lined up nicely with the daily EMA. If you see, let's just put a little marker here in blue, and if we go to the daily, yeah, it's just a little bit higher, so it would have been actually the highs here, around about where the EMA would have met. So the EMA would have met roughly around here, come back down, and then we go lower. So that's what we're looking at for Aussie US dollar. I'm just going to be monitoring that when the market opens tonight at 10 o'clock GMT, and we'll see what happens. Take it from there, because it could be an interesting trade, because we could have all this room back up to the upside. Maybe not quite as high as this, but we could definitely come to things like these highs, then the next these highs, then targeting these two highs here, and then of course pushing up higher. But if we look left and go down to, if we go to the daily, sorry, you can see here this area of orange support is a significant one. You can see we've had major touches here, major touches here, 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 of course hitting the bottom here, hitting the top here, and then coming back down, hitting the bottom and having another significant push away, but in quite an aggressive bullish fashion. So that is definitely one to watch, I think, this week. I think personally, I think this is going to be actionable at the start of this week, hence why it's in the ready to enter list. But that's what we are seeing for Aussie US dollar. Now let's quickly go through the watch list and we'll try and blast through them. As you see, we've got quite a few here, and we'll be able to go through them on the 4 hour. There's not really too much. You can see, maybe just going to see what happens when price action hits this orange zone here. You can see the orange zone. It's where market has shown great pushes away. Great pushes away here in a bullish fashion, coming back down, created a second push away and a third push away, and now we've tanked back below that, and now we're coming back in to retest it as resistance. So if we do get that good retest as resistance, maybe push higher, ignite some buyers to get in the market, and then hopefully push back down below, trapping some buyers and then moving down further. But again, if it pushes up higher, we will obviously look to capitalise in a bullish fashion. But again, it's nothing really too exciting for me on that. Aussie CHF, you can see what's happening here, nothing too exciting. If we're going to be looking at the Aussie US dollar long, Aussie CAD, again, nothing too exciting, and Aussie NZD, nothing too exciting. Okay, so JPP Aussie, we had that symmetrical triangle that we did manage to break out, but we didn't manage to sustain it, and now you can see we're actually coming crashing back down just on that Friday there. If you go to the weekly, you'll see what's going on here. We are firmly bullish, but now we are coming back down, hopefully to start retracing some of this bullish push up. We might actually come back down to 1.85250, or just around that 1.86000 handle. So, and then I do think that we can start to gear up to then take that second push up to around about that 194,500 handle. But again, we do have still a lot of things telling us that we are bullish, even though the sellers are taking control. Short term, we are still firmly bullish. We've broken these highs, which is incredibly significant, around that 185,254 handle, and now we're coming back down to sort of reclaim some of that momentum that the bulls have stolen from the bears, and then I think we will start to pick back up. So that's what we're looking at for GBP Aussie. Nothing quite yet. GBP JPY, this is what we were seeing. You can see that trend line. It's really hard to ignore. Starts all the way back. Starts all the way back on the 17th of March. We've had several key touches that have ignited good pushes away, and then we're coming back down now and to retest it. And you see we've formed that double bottom in this little inner orange zone, in amongst a bigger orange zone, as you can see here, that has significant touches that we can look to then draw consecutively smaller mini zones that are going to ultimately tell us where price action are more likely to go, which levels they're more likely to bounce off, and that will ultimately tell us where to then put our targets in these bigger zones that you see in orange. Now, again, nothing too exciting right now. You can see we were hoping to push back up to around about these highs, around the 153 mark. We've not really done so much of moving up just yet. We're sort of just staying underneath that 50 EMA on the daily. If we go down to the 4 hour, you can see we're creating a double top. We're just sort of ranging right now. We did have that mini orange support zone that I did think we were going to come back down and to get that push back up that we really needed to get to that 153 handle. But again, it's not really played out that way, and we have seen a double top form. So right now we're kind of undecided. We're just going to sit back and watch this. So GBP CHF. Again, a really interesting pair. We are seeing this flag pattern to this big massive bullish move up. We've seen that inverted double top at that zone in the orange, which started the top of the channel for this pennant, or the top of the pennant, sorry, or flag pattern, whichever you would like to call it. So we had these 3 consecutive lows here that gave us the bottom of the pennant, so that 1, 2, 3, and now it looks like we're going to find resistance at that 50 EMA on the daily and then push back down lower. And I do think that we're going to hit that 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level, and then I think we're going to start to see some buyers back in the market from an area like this, just under the 124,000 handle, and then ultimately I would like to see price action go back up to that 1.30000 mark, maybe even pushing up to 1.31000. But again, a little bit of development needed, but one that's really interesting. So out of all of these, I would probably stick to GBP CHF. I would just avoid Aussie. So you can see the R on the watch list just in case anything develops. But this is also a good insight to how we go through, sieve through them all, and then try and find the best setups. For me, this has got the best, just the cleanest looking setup. Of course, price action has been a little bit choppy, but when it moves, you obviously see it can move. So Euro Aussie. Again, I'm not going to go too much into this. It's self-explanatory what we are looking at. Euro GBP, again, self-explanatory what we're looking at. We've seen this nice area of support that we found in red. We've seen that price action really getting squeezed. We pushed back up, we came back in, respected it, and then you see you've used it as resistance again, which is why we never really move. If we have a trend line that ignites the first highs or the first lows and it covers most of the highs, the majority of the highs and the majority of the lows, never ever move it unless there's real significant evidence to do so. Don't just move it like this because this now looks accurate, because it's not really, you've just missed all these significant touches. And then if you didn't have it like how you did, where you've used these lows here, this one, these highs here, sorry, this one, you're touching all of these, all of these, all of these, all of these, and then see what happens is the price action, although you've joined the top wicks, price action will wick out, but you see it's closed inside. It's wicked out, it's closed inside. It's wicked out, it's closed inside. So if I had moved that, I would have potentially, if I was wanting to take some sales, I would have missed out on all those entries because my analysis was a little bit incorrect, because I had fear that I was missing out on a new pattern. You should always keep, if you have the initial swing highs joined up to a next significant swing high and another swing high, keep those and don't deviate from unless there's extremely significant evidence to take away or change or alter any of your analysis, because then it does really skew your vision in the markets and you're not going to be able to get consecutively good, accurate, profitable trades on wrong, shitty analysis. So Euro GBP, that's what we're looking at, that simple breaking retest back up to that 0.787 200 handle. Euro CHF, again, nothing really too interesting for me. Just going to leave that out. Euro GPY, again, I'm thinking buys back up to the 131,830 handle. We've just broken this counter trend, and then because we were in that bullish, we're in that bullish channel, and we're in that bullish channel for a while. Then we've broken out of it, and we were sustained quite a nice downtrend that we've now just broken out of. We're finding a little bit of bother at that 50 EMA on the daily, which is causing us a little bit of resistance. But I do think that we're going to be able to push back up out that, up to the 131,830 handle, just under that 132, and then we can look to reassess where price action will then go. If we go back up to these highs around about 133, 134, and then potentially if we do actually break back down below this little orange box that you see, as support, and we break these lows here, we come back down, break these lows, then we come back down and break these lows, we could really start to open up and start to look to trade back down 𝗙𝗍𝗍𝗍, this bullish channel that started all the way back on the 30th of October 2020, and then we could even potentially hit all the way lower. But again, it does look like to this push up we are having that little retracement, finding up some buyers, picking up some steam, and then looking to take this up higher. And you can see we could even challenge 136, but again, this is just what we're looking at. We don't know what's going to happen, but we're prepared to go either way. 𝗙𝗍𝗍𝗍, 𝗙𝗍𝗍𝗍. Again, most of these are self-explanatory. You'll be able to see quite clearly what we're looking at. There's nothing too fancy on the charts. Again, we're just in that bullish channel, but it's getting squeezed just ever so slightly. We're coming to that key area that you see in orange. We're also coming to the bottom of the trend line, so we're sort of monitoring price action to see where it wants to go, whether it be back up to 122 and just a little bit above, or we break back down lower, that 119 handle. So 𝗙𝗍𝗍𝗍 is interesting. I like the look of this. I do think we might actually break above this and then look to retest that 90 handle, but again, we are quite far on in this channel, and you can see here we had price action really break these lows, and you can see here, but we've found support again on that 50 EMA on the weekly. We've also found support on the bottom of the channel, because we took, and this is another thing, because we've just literally spoken about having joined up the lows like this, but when you have such erratic wicks, it's kind of hard to really put that into perspective in the market, because it's not really an area of the market that has extreme significance, because it's been an erratic move. It's not really something that's going to be able to be predicted time and time again. You're not going to get loads of erratic moves that are just going to stop exactly on levels. They're more likely to break through levels and then break back down below, just due to the nature. So that's why we had our trend line initially like so, because as you can see here, we are connecting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and now 9 touches, as opposed to 1, 2, 3. So now we have 9 significant touches in the market that's going to be able to give us a really good guidance on whether to take longs or shorts based on retests or bounces when we see price action hit these levels, combined with obviously other levels and then other confluences like the 50 EMA and things like that, although we don't use that actively for getting in and out trades, or we just sometimes throw it on as an extra confluence. Gold, very impressive. You can see that huge hammer candle that has just been formed a couple of weeks ago, and now it looks like we are going to hit that 1920 handle very comfortably. Once we break that 133 handle, 1833, sorry, you can see the trend line that we've drawn here. Again, we wouldn't do something like this and draw a trend line like that, because price action is just not reacting to that. Okay, we need to be sensible in where we're drawing these. So I decided this was a real significant low, this is an incredibly significant low, and then the market's obviously decided that this is the trend line that we are going to follow, and then look how well it is being respected here. And then of course you had that huge hammer candle, had a little bit of problems with the 50 EMA, and then we've just broken back above it last week. So now I do think we will start to push up more bullish on gold. So NZD USD, so like a symmetrical triangle, but let's go back to the weekly. We'll be able to have a look and see what's going on here. We have had a real big rain, and then we've had a double top here. So we've had a big push up, and we've been bullish since the 23rd of March 2020, bullish, and then we've sort of spiked out here on the 22nd of February, created a double top, the second top between the 26th of April and the 31st of May, and now we're starting to come back down. We've broken these lows, come back down with bullish price action. But bullish price action has prevailed. It's actually pushed back up almost just as high as the previous week, which is obviously a strong bullish sign. And if we go down to the 4 hour, you'll be able to see what we are looking at here. We were thinking that this could have been potentially a head and shoulders, a really lopsided one, and then that this would have been the neckline. So you would have had your shoulder, you would have had your head, you would have had your neck, your other shoulder, your neckline, that break. We were thinking about getting a retest here, but obviously we didn't get that. We curved over around about these two double bottoms here in resistance, and then found support again on that 50 EMA and pushed back up higher above this orange zone, and I think we'll cut back a little bit and then hit that 0.70500. But again, right now it's on the watch list, but there's nothing too exciting for me. 𝗙𝗙𝗍𝗍 79,650 looks like it could be hit, maybe even a little bit higher. I think we could go to that 80 mark because the market does obviously love round numbers, but I think we might actually be able to hit that 80 mark. Let's just have a look on the weekly and see what we're seeing. Again, similar. Nothing really exciting, so I'm not really going to. 𝗙𝗙𝗍𝗍 is just a miss for me. So for this week, 𝗙𝗙𝗍𝗍 has been a miss, Aussie's been a miss, GBP/CHF's been a real good one, Euro GBP, I think it was a good one, and then a couple of these, I think where gold was good, 𝗙D not too good. So as you can see, we have a lot of these pairs on the watch list, but we've just completely abandoned all these four, and we've completely abandoned these two, just because they're not producing anything. And before currency pairs even get on this list, we go through and we analyse every single currency pair on both of these lists, as you can see here, and then of course the cryptocurrency list. So we analyse them all, and if they make the cut, we get to the watch list, and the ones that really need action go to ready, and the ones that are entered need entered, and they need managed, and the future ones are the ones that could progress week and a month in 2 months, and the up and comers are ones that could potentially progress in the next year. Right, so US dollar CAD. We were initially taking a buy position on this, but we actually closed it because it just wasn't really moving. Then we took another buy on this, and it took us out of break even because we moved our stop loss to entry once it started to push up. But it's just not really playing a good game right now. You can see that we did have that initial push up that we really did enjoy because that's what we were looking for. We created that double bottom, and messed around it, consolidated in the zone, as you can see here, just consolidated in the zone, and then eventually we managed to get that double bottom, higher high, higher low, and then that push up. We created an inverted double top, back up to retest again at this orange zone, and then we've tanked back down into an area of extreme interest, so we might actually get another trade. So we're going to move that to the ready to enter list. So if we just take this off, this will be the last pair that we go through, but you'll be able to see what we're looking at. We've covered this in multiple other videos previously, but this is just what we're looking at. We plan on breaking that 1.27185 handle and then moving up higher. You can see these highs previously on the 22nd of February, the 1st of March, and those 2 weeks, those are significant highs that the market's pushed down from, and then we're coming back up to retest. We couldn't sustain above there, and then we're coming back down to retest that trend line. You can see what it looks like on the daily a little bit clearer, but we might actually just break this because you can see price action is failing to really get higher, and we're sort of turning. You can see price action turning like this, and we might actually just break down lower, although this is an ascending triangle pattern. Technically, I mean, you might actually take this as the resistance spot here. That seems a little bit more accurate, and then you would just move your trend line here, and there you go. So typically speaking, when you're in an ascending triangle, price action should theoretically and more probable and theoretically it would actually bounce and push up higher and smash through that resistance, and it's more probable to do so. But just with the way price action is pushed up and then come back down so harshly in the last day on Friday, in the last 4 hours, you can see here is real significant. So we're going to look to see how price action reacts to this real sensitive area of support. That bullish trend line that we see, that we just keep edging price action up higher into that area of resistance that we hopefully are going to break and then look to get further buys. Or do we take notice to the rounding and off of the price action on the daily and the weekly, and then think, okay, we might actually be looking to get in short here once we break that 126.000 handle, and then look to move back down to target 124.435, and then of course 123.000. But that's what we're looking at. Again, always planning for buys or sells no matter what position we're looking at. But again, out of all these trades, not all of them are going to be traded. We're only looking at 2 or 3, maybe even 4 at an absolute push. And of course, we're also in 𝗙TC/USD, and we've also uploaded many videos analysis wise on what we think is going to happen and what's currently happening in 𝗙TC/USD and all our positions. Hopefully you've enjoyed that, and hopefully you've got a lot of questions and comments, so leave them below. Get in touch on the social media channels because we love to hear from you, and then of course join in the Telegram group because we're able to get all of your questions answered much faster. We're able to check over our analysis, and we're also able to share our insights and what we're doing on that day to day. Hopefully everybody has a profitable trading week. Ours was last week, I hope yours was too, and this one is gearing up to be yet another profitable week, as long as you manage your watch list. Make sure that you are staying disciplined and getting in the markets when you need to be, and not holding on to any losers. So until it's going to be market recap now on Wednesday at 7 o'clock, have a great and profitable trading week, and we will see everybody in the next video.